So this is going to be another spiritual video. I don't exactly know what number we're at on the spiritual warfare videos. We might be on episode 15 or 16. I'm going to check on my list, and when I'm uploading, I'll let it be known where we are. There is people on this planet that do not have a soul, and then there's people that have souls. There is angels, there's demons. Now, for the longest of time, why do I talk about spiritual warfare? That is because for the longest of time, there's been a battle between light and darkness. There have been a battle between the people that have always stood with the light against the people that operate in the dark. The two of those energies are completely different energies. If you look at the empath and the narcissist, you already understand you're dealing with the energy between light and darkness. The empath has got an agenda to save, to rescue, to elevate, to motivate, to love, and all those things that follow. The narcissist has got an agenda to destroy, to manipulate, to do everything that explains whatever you call darkness. There is things that you do as a high vibrational soul, and there is things that you say. Now we're not going to focus on the things that you do. I may have to do the entire video on that other aspect of it. I'm going to focus on the things that you say. Let me take you back during your relationship with the narcissist. Let me take you back in time. The reason why you guys used to fight all the time. Have you noticed that every moment you wanted to say something and you opened your mouth, there was a problem? Every time that you wanted to open your mouth, when you was dealing with people with that kind of demon energy, those people was triggered and there was always a problem. So in most of the cases, it led into a fight. In some case scenarios, when you try to say something and you try to open your mouth, they wanted you to shut up. Now, there is something what is going on, ladies and gentlemen. And to better understand this video, you need to understand frequency. When you're speaking, you're putting out a frequency. That frequency, if you're operating from the light, is a very powerful frequency. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this video, and I want you to share this video. I request you to share this video. That frequency is very, very powerful. In the Bible, they used to say Jesus used to speak and the demons would flee. That is exactly what they was talking about. If you try to put it into this modern era now that we're living, it's the exact same language that he was talking, but it was in a different form. The voice, when you speak, chosen ones, you speak with authority. You simply speak with a knowing. Is the reason as to why some people ask you things like, how do you know what you know? How are you able to say what you say? Because you have got strong conviction that you understand properly what you're saying. You have got a conscious, you are able to understand and filter those words accurately and say it exactly as it should be. Even if you understand that your voice may not be welcome in certain environments and communities, you always have tried to say and to stand in your truth. When there's a conversation between two people, there's the speaker and then there's the receiver. If you're the one who is the speaker, you may have the person that is on the receiving end and you may actually be talking to a demon. That is going to be very difficult because the demon you're speaking with does not speak your language. The demon you're speaking with does not speak your language. They understand their language, which is at their frequency. You understand your language, which is at your frequency. The two of those energies are completely different energies. When you speak, there is something it sends, a frequency into those demons' minds, and it is going to almost burst their ears. In some case scenarios, because what is coming out of your mouth, not only are you a high vibrational individual, the words that are coming out of your mouth hold a very high frequency. Now, this is like, for example, holding a very loud speaker and speaking or screaming into somebody's ears. That loudspeaker will burst their eardrums. When you're talking about a conversation between angels and demons, you speak. Just by you speaking, you may even sometimes whisper. Is why sometimes they have told you, you have got to command these demons. When they are trying to get a hold of you, you have the power to command them because you have the power in your voice. A lot of times when you've been dealing with a narcissist, you might have noticed they wanted you quiet. They never wanted you to speak because they understand your frequency. There's a power that you have got in your words that they do not want to hear, because that power, it bursts their demon. It can pierce through their eardrums. It will burst their ears. You see, a lot of times, people have normally kept you in the dark. It was easy to control you when you're in the dark. You know, when you are playing small, you don't know who you are, you're just there coiling like a rabbit. You know, you don't want to say, you are like the little guy who doesn't want to speak. No, that is what they wanted you to be, because on an unconscious level, they usually understood your power. They knew what power you held within. So that is why they wanted you to be small. Your parents didn't want you to speak. Your parents wanted you in the little box. They wanted you in a corner. When there was family meetings, you cannot say something, because actually what was really happening spiritually, there was warfare that was going on, and the demons was afraid of your voice. I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, even sometimes without you speaking, just by speaking with your mind, that is how powerful you are. You can move mountains just by speaking through your mind, even if you didn't open your mouth. So that means when you open your mouth, there's a different frequency. The demons are not listening to. So when we're talking about these things, ladies and gentlemen, you better understand how spiritual warfare works and how it has always been operating behind the scenes. The people that have always had a very big voice, powerful voice, was not allowed to speak because they held a frequency that would shift the entire room. I've always told you the story of Jesus. Jesus was at that frequency. So those people that knew that this man has got so much power and frequency, there's a voice that he has got, it can move mountains, they tried to get him out of the way, because when he was speaking, they was not heard. And this was demon narcissists who was trying very hard to be heard. But when he was around, they wasn't heard. I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, the very moment you wake up and understand the world is spiritual, that is the moment your life will change. You will notice that everything starts to shift organically and naturally because you know what you're dealing with. You fully understand what you're dealing with. Everything will shift for you. These eyes that we see with the 3D and the things you can see, whatever, is all illusion. It's just like, the real world is spiritual. And for you to be able to navigate that real world, you need to understand spiritual warfare. The voice you have, whether it is a small one, whether you speak with a tenor, whether it is a bass, it does not matter what kind of tone you use in your voice. There's a frequency that comes with that voice. That voice and that frequency, it bursts the demon's ears. Is why sometimes you speak and they're going to run off. They may sometimes close their ears, they may sometimes run off. Even sometimes your presence alone, you may see them covering their face. When you come into a vicinity, maybe sometimes you show up in the room, you're vibrating correctly. And sometimes you see people, they're putting some newspaper over their head, over their face like this. They don't want to be seen. They're hiding their eyes like this. They cannot understand. They cannot contain your brightness. They cannot contain your aura. That is exactly who you are, my chosen ones. You need to stop underestimating yourself. You need to stop playing small. You did not come here to play small. You need to understand who you are and take back your power. Everything becomes easier the moment you understand who you are. So do not be surprised as to why you meet sometimes these demon people. And the very first thing what they will take from you is your voice. They are very, very scared of your voice. They take that from you very fast because they know you're all about the truth. The truth holds a certain frequency, and that frequency, it cuts through very deeply the illusions that these demons have been building to keep you as a in mental bondage. So you cut through those illusions, and that thing strikes very deep within their soul, if they even have one, because we understand they don't have a soul. But it cuts through the entire illusion they have built, and it crumbles their foundation. That is why they don't want you to speak. Because your voice, it deeply cuts through the illusion they have built. That sound alone, that frequency alone is enough to burst those demons' ears. I'm very sure that many of you guys understand this thing, how it works. Let us know in the comment section below. My videos are not for everybody, so if you try to consume this content, it's not on your frequency, it's going to make your head spin. Like the page, share, subscribe. You always know I do love and appreciate your support. Please book a session if you want to. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will see you guys in my next one. Denzo Moss signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.